All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all the honor, the praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect scattered abroad. All right, this is the brother Barbazal here with a lesson, and Lord willing, it's edifying. So today, the title of this lesson will be, the elect will be the most desired, all right, during that day, or when all hell breaks loose, something along those lines. All right, just so we're gonna read it. All right, we're gonna read the first precept. All right, and as we see all hell breaking loose, as we see in the prophecies unfold, all right, people is going to realize, that the men of the Lord was right the whole time. All right, so it's gonna be people, everywhere, right, looking for the prophets. All right, men, all right, women, all right, they all gonna be looking for that that security. All right, but they ain't gonna be able to find it. All right. So this is the book of Zephaniah 3:19. This is, behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halted, and gather her that was driven out, and I will give them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. And currently, the prophets ain't looked at as those men, all right, these top ranking, high value men, so to speak. All right, but during that day, all right, when everything is proved that they was right the whole time, right, when the elect is getting spiritual power, all right, that hedge, all right, given to them from the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shemi, all right, it's basically going to be like the elect will be the new celebrities, especially, in the kingdom, right? Being the first fruits, putting, the heathens to slavery. All right. The 2/3 coming out the loins of the elect. All right. They're going to be on top. All right. And all the lands that scoffed and scorned all the heathen, that was against, the men of Yahweh by Shemi, all right, they're going to be put to shame, you see. At that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you, for I will make you a name and praise among all people of the earth, when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, saith the Lord. So this is going into the kingdom, all right, when he says, when he turns back our captivity before our eyes. So, we ain't going to be in captivity in the kingdom. We going to be the rulers in the kingdom. You see, we're going to be known as the high value men, the celebrities, all right, so to speak. All right, those with the fame and the praise and, whatever case may be, right now, of course, we're taking, we're low, we're at a low estate. We're not out here trying to exalt ourselves, right? Because, we have no power. All right. And all the glory goes to Yahweh by Shemi. Yahweh by Shemi, of course, takes all the credit. All right. But there will be a time where the men of the Lord, who took the low, took the high road, so to speak. All right. It's going to be exalted up. Right. Over those that, the heathens. Right. And even, the 2/3. Because the first fruits, the elect, it's going to be a certain order, right? You're going to have the governing body. You're going to have the first fruits, all right? So, the kingdom of heaven, right, it's going to be in order. All right, this is the book of Isaiah 4:1. In that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread, wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. All right, now, while these women during that day is just going to be looking for, any man, right? This is mainly talking about the elect, all right? Because a woman is going to be looking for security, all right? Well, the average man, ain't going to know what to do during that day. It's not going to have, Yahweh by Shemi with him, So imagine, seeing a man of the Lord, a man that's going to be secure during that day, all right, that has the protection of the Lord, may be granted, spiritual power, things of that nature, All right. You know, these are the men that women is going to be flocking to, right? Isaiah 4:1, you know, brothers are going to be having to, kick these different women, off their feet, and it's not like, every brother, or brothers are going to choose, every woman that come to them. No. All right. Brothers is going to be selective. All right. So, if a brother ain't willing to deal with you during that day, he don't have to. You see? And another thing too, in order for a woman to be saved during that day, in order for a woman to she's gonna have to be with a man, a man of the Lord. Specifically. You see? So it's gonna be, so that's gonna make it all the more, crazy during that time, man. All right, because they gonna know that this man is the ticket, for their salvation. This man is the ticket for them to be protected. All right, and women is gonna go back to they natural role, right? All right, being a servant to the man, a helpmeet to the man. All right, not none of this pride, not any of this oh, I don't need a man and this, that, and third. No. All right. A woman is going to go back to her natural state. All right. Her natural basically her natural state during that day. All right. Which is being below the man, a servant to the man. All right. They're not going to care if you have multiple wives or multiple women, during that time. All right. Which is nothing wrong with having multiple women. All right, so this is Isaiah 13:12. This also says, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. So this is talking about, the elect man specifically. The elect man will be more precious than fine gold. People going to be searching for him for security, protection, to find the truth, to see what to do during that day. All right. And, if you're a woman and, the Lord has mercy on you, you'll be good. But if you were 2/3, you chose to scoff and scorn. All right. It's very well that, your chance at repentance is done. It's going to be too late, and, whatever happened to you, whatever the Lord sees fit for you to happen, as judgment, that's going to be on you. All right, so this is the book of Ezekiel 33:33. And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come. Then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. What? All right, going into the prophecies of the Lord. All right, that the prophecies that the Lord has given to the elect, all right, the prophets specifically, all right, to break down and to, blow that trumpet. All right. So in that day, once all hell break loose, they all gonna know that these were the men of the Lord. These men were right the whole time. And a lot of people is actually realizing that too, but even more during that day. Amos 8:11. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but hearing the words of the Lord. Yeah. So, even though, of course, it will be a famine of bread during that time and water, but, mainly the hearing the words of the Lord, people is going to be looking for the prophets. It says, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord and shall not find it. Yeah. So, the prophets ain't going to be out there on the highways and hedges forever. All right. YouTube, is going to be shut down. All right. You're going to be persecuted for even, going out there and preaching the word at all. All right. So, the elect, it's going to come a certain time, where, the prophets ain't going to be out there preaching and people are going to be looking for the prophets, Probably, the day you go to camp, Saturday or Friday or whatever time brothers may go, you know, that specific spot that at that day and time, you know, could be crowded with people, you know, waiting for the prophets to show up. You see? All right. And I believe that was the last precept. But I'll read that first one again one more time. It says, Zephaniah 3:19, behold, at the time I will undo all that afflict thee. So the hell that we catching, all right, it's going to be a complete, reverse. All right, how we on the bottom of the bottom, all right, we going to be at the top, man. All right, all that's afflicting us, you know, all the hell that we catching, all right, you know, it's going to be all good in the kingdom of heaven, man. All right. And I will save her that halteth and gather her that was driven out, and I will give them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. So the kingdom of heaven is going to be on earth, all right? And you know, the Israelites is going to be ruling, all right? And the heathens, you know, in whatever lands that they dwell in, all right, that they was, coming at the prophets, you know, putting more hell on the prophets, forwarding the affliction, all right, to the Israelites, all right, mainly going with the elect, all right, you know, they're going to be put to shame. And at that time, I will bring you again in the time that I gather you, for I will make you a name and praise among all people of the earth when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, saith the Lord. So there you go, you know. Self-explanatory. But with that, I'd like to give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Shalom.